Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, because today we're diving into one of Britain's most haunting maritime tragedies, a true story of mystery, loss, and the deadly silence of the deep sea. In the early hours of November 22nd, 1990, the calm waters of Scotland's Firth of Clyde were hiding a terrifying secret. A small wooden fishing boat vanished without a trace, and what pulled her beneath the waves was no storm. It was a Royal Navy nuclear submarine. This is the chilling story of the Antares, a story of 4 fishermen, a silent submarine, and one tragic mistake that shook an entire nation. The crew and the boat. The Antares was a humble fishing trawler built in 1965 in the coastal town of Sandhaven, Scotland. She was only 16 meters long, small but sturdy. For her crew, she wasn't just the boat, she was home. Her port was Carradale, a peaceful village on the Kintyre Peninsula, where life and livelihood both depended on the sea. On November 19, 1990, 4 men set sail on what seemed like an ordinary fishing trip. Jamie Russell, 33, the experienced skipper respected by all. Billy Martindale, 24, cheerful, hardworking, recently engaged. Dougal John Campbell, 20, the youngest, full of ambition. Stuart Campbell, 29, not related to Dougal, but like a brother to the crew. They planned to fish for several days in the Firth of Clyde. The weather was calm, the men laughed, played music, and prepared their nets near the Isle of Arran, unaware that this could be their final voyage. The submarine. Beneath those same quiet waters, another vessel was moving silently, unseen, unheard. The HMS Trenchant, a Trafalgar-class nuclear submarine of the Royal Navy, was carrying out secret training exercises, one of the most advanced submarines of its time, capable of staying hidden underwater for months. On board were officers taking part in the elite submarine command course, better known as the Perisher, the toughest and most unforgiving training program in the Navy. Those who passed could command a submarine. Those who failed saw their careers end. On November 21st, Trenchant was in the Arran Trench, about 30 miles from its base at Fastlane. The mission? A simulated mine-laying exercise. The hunters above, a surface frigate, HMS Trenchant. Deep below, the submarine crept slowly through dark, cold water, completely unaware that just above it, fishermen were working their nets. Collision course. At 2:17 a.m., Trenchant was gliding at a depth of 60 meters, moving at 6 knots. In the control room, one of the trainee officers, known as the duty captain, was in charge. He watched the sonar screens as faint echoes of fishing boats appeared above. The sonar team reported 2 vessels on the surface, but there were 3. The third was the Antares. As the submarine adjusted course to avoid one contact, its towering fin and periscope masts passed directly beneath the Antares troll cables. The steel warps, thick wires connecting the nets to the ship, snagged on the submarine's casing. Within seconds, the cables went tight. The submarine didn't stop. It kept moving forward, dragging the nets and the Antares. The fishermen must have felt a violent jolt, their deck tilting sharply as the boat lurched backwards. Before they could react, the trawler was being pulled under. At 2:18 a.m., the Antares capsized. Cold seawater rushed in through her windows. In less than a minute, she was gone. No distress call, no warning, only silence. Inside the submarine, the crew heard metallic banging, scraping, vibrations echoing through the hull, but no one knew what they had just done. Minutes later, when Trenchant rose to periscope depth, they saw 2 trawlers still fishing, but not the Antares. By 3 a.m., Trenchant surfaced. Sailors climbed out onto the hull and found tangled wire and fishing net wrapped around the submarine. They realized they had hit something, but assumed it was just stray gear. They radioed HMS Charybdis, but got no response from the fishing boats. Believing no major damage had occurred, Trenchant resumed her training. Meanwhile, in the small village of Caradel, families slept peacefully, unaware that their loved ones were already gone. By morning, nearby fishermen noticed something was wrong. The Antares hadn't returned. No radio contact, no sign. By midday, the Coast Guard launched a full-scale search. Helicopters swept the sea, lifeboats combed the waves. They found only debris, floating fish boxes, bits of wood, but no men. Later that day, Navy sonar detected something new on the seabed, a small, upturned wreck lying 80 meters deep. It was the Antares. 3 bodies were recovered from inside the cabin in the following days. The 4th fisherman's body was found almost a year later, caught in another net miles away. Investigation. 11 to 15 minutes. The nation was in shock. How could a Royal Navy submarine sink a fishing vessel and not even know? The government ordered a full investigation, led by the Marine Accident Investigation Branch. Their findings were devastating. The Antares had been fishing legally. Her nets reached deep into the Aran Trench, directly into the submarine's path. Inside Trenchant, the sonar team misread the data. They believed there were 2 trawlers, not 3. They also assumed the nets wouldn't reach that deep. But they did. And when the duty captain became momentarily distracted, the course that led to disaster was set. When Trenchant later surfaced and found nets tangled around her hull, her commanders underestimated the seriousness of what had happened. They failed to alert search and rescue immediately, a delay that cost precious hours. The final report was clear. The crew of the Antares were entirely blameless. The tragedy was caused by errors in submarine command and watchkeeping. In 1992, Lieutenant Commander Peter MacDonald, the officer responsible that night, was court-martialed. He was found guilty of negligence and severely reprimanded, but he kept his naval career. For the families of the fishermen, it felt like injustice. They had lost everything, and the punishment was far too light. Legacy, 15 to 16 minutes. Today, the Antares still lies beneath the cold waters of the Firth of Clyde, a silent memorial to the 4 men who never came home. Their story reminds us that the sea gives life, and it takes it away. And sometimes, all it takes is one human mistake to send 4 souls and a small wooden boot to the depths of history. This was Antares, dragged to the depths. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more true maritime mysteries and forgotten tragedies. Because some stories deserve to be remembered. Would you like me to